Uranus goes retrograde September 6th in Gemini. And this video is going to be about 2025. Another peek into 2025. Hello, 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 hello. Are we live? Are we on? Is this thing working? We're not live. We're not supposed to be going live. This is a recording. Remember that back in the day? Maybe they still do it. This is a recording of the International Broadcasting System, or this is a test. What was it? Anyway, If you're in my timeline, you know what I'm talking about. So we start off 2025 with planets that are going direct. We have 3 of them right in the first couple of months of 2025 that are going direct because they had already started their retrogrades in 2024. Right. So you start off January 30th. January 30th, we have Uranus. And Uranus goes direct at 23 degrees in Taurus. You'll see this in a lot of the videos where I make a mention. Look at Uranus. Look at Uranus. I've got it on the screen. I've got it on the chart drawn up, the symbol big. It's at 23 degrees. So those of you who are following the degree astrology, you know what that means, right? Something happening and something changing, different and sudden, likely. Well, we'll let the astrology, the weekly videos explain a little bit more of that. But that's January 30th. February 4th, we have Jupiter going direct. The retrograde is over. The la-la, the fairy tale, the fantasy, the extreme communications that were like, wait a minute, you just said this, now you're saying this, the duality, the controversial, the what's the word I'm looking for when you speak out of both sides of your mouth? Contradictory, or there's another word for it. Anyway, Jupiter no longer retrograding. It's going station direct. This is February 4th. That's at 11 degrees. Right there at the beginning of the year, we have 2 Aquarius degrees. Interesting. February 24th, Mars retrograde. Mars goes direct. Mars retrograde ends at 17 degrees of Cancer. And this is February 24th, 17 degrees of Cancer. Mars goes direct. Remember, it's February. It's still out of bounds. March 2nd, Venus begins a retrograde. You got your ears perked? Keep them perked. Keep them perked. Venus goes retrograde March 2nd, and it is at 10 degrees in Aries. Okay? March 15th, same month, March 15th, Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde. It's in Aries at 9 degrees and 35 minutes. You got that? Yes. Venus and Mercury both in Aries, both covering roughly the same degrees in their retrogrades. And the retrogrades begin, what is that? What did I say? Yeah, 13 days apart, the retrogrades begin, but they cover the same degrees roughly in Aries energy. This should be interesting. April 7th, Mercury goes direct. Mercury goes direct, and it's going direct at 26 degrees of Pisces. Mercury goes direct. Then we have April 13th. The Venus retrograde is over. Venus is now going direct. It goes direct at 24 degrees of Pisces. So you see, Aries, Pisces, both Venus and Mercury do a retrograde in roughly the same areas. Venus and Mercury. May 4th, a Pluto retrograde. It begins at 3 degrees in Aquarius, a Pluto retrograde. For those of you who have been following along with the Pluto stuff, you know you pay attention to the minutes as well. 3 degrees and 49 minutes with the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. July 4th, Neptune begins its retrograde in Aries at 2 degrees and 10 minutes. Yeah. Aries is a big deal, isn't it? Yeah, freedom, my body, my independent actions. It's also weapons because it's the soldier. So we think of wars. Yeah, we think of soldiers. We think of, people who carry weapons who aren't soldiers or who don't have a license or who are not officers, right? We think of people, especially the youthful energy, the youth that tends to carry weapons and go to schools and do really bad things to others and to themselves, which is really sad. They just are like, hey, I'm going out with a double, triple whammy type of thing. Okay, so that was the Neptune retrograde. It starts at 2 degrees in Aries. That's July 4th. Yeah, July 4th. You heard me right. July 13th, Saturn retrograde in Aries at 1 degrees. So again, July 13th, Saturn begins its retrograde in Aries at 1 degrees. Then we go to July 18th. Mercury begins a retrograde. Another Mercury retrograde, right? We have multiple ones a year. That's just normal. In the fire signs, Mercury is retrograding in Leo. It begins its retrograde at 15 degrees of Leo. Mercury, 15 degrees of Leo, beginning its retrograde July 18th. Next, we go to July 30th, and we've got Chiron. Chiron's beginning its retrograde in Aries at 27 degrees. 27 degrees, Chiron retrograde. So July 30th, Chiron begins its retrograde at 27 degrees in fiery ass Aries. 27 degrees, the news, social media. Remember, 27, Aries, the youth. Just keep all these things in mind. August 11th, Mercury goes direct. August 11th, Mercury goes direct. Yes, you heard me. So that Mercury retrograde began at 15 and went back to 4 in Leo, okay? Then we have September 6th. Uranus goes retrograde September 6th in Gemini. Right. So we'll have a video for Uranus going into Gemini for sure. All right. Because that's a big deal. Anytime a big planet, a big slow mover changes signs, Uranus out of Taurus. Holy shit. This is, wow. This is huge. It's huge. So that's Uranus going retrograde at 1 degrees in Gemini, which means it goes back into Taurus, right? Yeah. So then we go to October 14th, and we have Pluto. October 14th, Pluto goes direct at 1 degrees and 22 minutes in Aquarius. So this tells us that Pluto began its retrograde at 3:49, goes direct at 1:22. So you could be writing all this down or marking it in your chart. If you print your charts out, it kind of gives you can have a year overview and have a very good idea of stuff without a lot of things, actually. So that was October 14th for the Pluto direct. That takes us to November 9th. We have a Mercury retrograde on November 9th. It's in Sagittarius. Surprise, surprise. Airlines, people traveling for Thanksgiving, and what a mess. Mercury means delays when it goes a retrograde. So anyway, November 9th, Mercury retrograde at 6 degrees in Saggy. Okay. November 11th, Jupiter goes retro. November 11th, this seems weird, a weird time of year. It is a weird time of year for a Jupiter. Anyway, November 11th, Jupiter goes retrograde at 25 degrees in Cancer energy. Woohoo! Oh, this is interesting. November 28th, Saturn is direct. Saturn goes direct at 25 degrees of Pisces. Really freaking interesting. Because it's the 24 and the 25. We know Venus, remember Venus and Mercury were in Pisces at 24 and 26 when they went direct. So it's like those latter degrees, those mastery degrees, 25, 26, they're really being worked in the water signs. What is that going to mean? What does that mean? You can think of some keywords, I'm sure, of what this means. Saturn retrograde began in Aries at 1 degrees, and it went direct in Pisces, went back to 25 degrees in Pisces. Okay. So that was November 28th. So here we are rounding off to 2025. November 29th, the Mercury retrograde is now over. Mercury goes direct at Scorpio. 20 degrees in Scorpio, Mercury goes direct. November 29th. And then December 10th, the last event for directs and retrogrades for planet movements. We have December 10th, and it is Neptune. Neptune goes direct at 29 degrees. So that tells us that that Neptune that began its retrograde back in July started at 2 degrees in Aries. Remember, 2 degrees in Aries. And the Saturn retrograde started at 1 degrees in Aries. This Neptune retrograding at 2 went all the way back to 29, okay, stops and goes forward there at 29 degrees in Pisces, okay? So that is your 2025 general overview of planets going direct and planets going retro. Direct is the opposite of retro. You follow? So this is a nice short one. I hope it helps. If you have questions, if there's videos that you want me to make for these, in particular, and it's going to be like a vote, meaning the more people that put into the comments which one they want, I'll tally those up and make videos for those. Okay. Or if I find, like the Mercury and the Venus thing, the dual retrograde, I'll probably do a video on that because those degrees are huge. The first few degrees of Aries are having a lot happening there. They're being worked over, so to speak, right? We think about freedoms. We think about the youth and bodily autonomy. We think about the civil liberties of Aries energy. And it's really, Aries is the pioneer. So it's about starting something. It's a new beginning of some sort, right? No doubt governments involved and how the wars that are going on right now may change for sure because the dynamics have changed, not just about a new administration, but I mean, in a sense, NATO for sure, Ukraine for sure, like dynamics are changing. So this is going to change the way these wars look. So yeah, I think that's it for right now. You got any questions? You got something you need? If you don't have your chart, comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. If you don't see this, if I don't see you, I mean, I'll see you before then. I'm recording this like at the end of November, going into December. So anyway, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And there's a whole lot of other holidays. Honor every one of them. Anybody ever see the movie 8 Crazy Nights, Adam Sandler? Because I'm a Christmas freak. So yeah, right. A Christmas. Yeah, but so what? So what? It's a celebration. I don't got to be Jewish to celebrate it. His dude in there, what was the old man's name? I forget his name, his character, his little short old guy. What was his name? What was anyway, he said, I don't got to be Jewish to celebrate it, and that's what I say. Honor them all. Have a good time. It's a reason of joy and celebration. What the hell, man? Right? Let's, yeah, whatever. Just live life and enjoy it. All right. Now I'm out.